Alright guys, welcome back into the channel. Today we're going over UFC Vegas 54, Jan Blachowicz versus Alexander Rochek. First, let's say thank you to our sponsor, Tampa Bless, home of Team Do Good, TampaBless.com for more information about that. Guys, let's get right into it. Jan, number one contender. He's number one dude right now. He's 39 years old. He's 28-9, plus 165 underdog here. And his last fight was the championship loss to Glover. And his one title defense, we know, was to Adesanya, who's a middleweight. All right, going up for that belt. He thought he was going to get an easy one. I think they cherry-picked that one. Think they were going to get Jan. He got them. He's going up against Alexander Rochek, ranked number 3, 14-2. 30 years old, minus 195 favorite here. He's on that 2-fight winning streak. He beat Thiago Santos and Anthony Smith, and his last loss was to Volkan Ozdemir. Tom, what do you got here?
Hey, you know what? Alexander really did have a good argument for getting a title shot as well. I think even before this fight, because he was on a bit of a run there. But that said, I think he'll get it after Yuri if he ends up beating Jan here. However, I'm going with the former champ, Jan, the Polishman. And I'm going to pick him by decision here, but I wouldn't be surprised if he catches him with something and puts him down earlier. But Alexander tends to fight a little bit more precautious, so it may lend itself towards a decision. We'll see.
I gotcha. I am thinking this one's going to be potentially another boring one. I think the reason why Rochek's not in the title picture is because sometimes he sits back and waits for the counter shot. Same thing. Jan does that a little bit, but Jan's a little more active normally. I'm just wondering how much more Jan has in the gas tank. Glover put it on him. It seemed pretty easy in that one. I mean, Glover's a stud, but he really put it on Jan like it didn't even look like Jan was in that fight. It was a little weird. Him versus Adesanya, pretty boring fight too. He kind of just laid on top of Adesanya for the win. I did think he won fair and square, but it was boring. Wasn't eventful. I think he hit Adesanya like one time. Adesanya really didn't hit him. Not too eventful. This is really kind of a toss-up for me. I'm seeing this more as a 50-50 fight here. I understand Rochek's a younger guy. I think that's what they're going. He's got only the 2 losses, but I mean, Volkan Ozdemir, Ozdemir's a power guy. He's got the one shot. That's his fame move there too. So I mean, Jan has that same power. He's got that same, better skill set. He's a black belt on the ground. All around, I'm having a hard time with really seeing a clear-cut winner here. I might be taking the underdog here. I think Jan might sit down Rochek if he comes forward, and I think Rochek might come forward a little more aggressively this fight, knowing that he's been called out for being boring, and that might really affect his head game, and he might try to move forward to finish this one. I think that's where Jan's at his best, when the other guys are trying to finish him. I'm taking Jan. I'm taking him knockout. We'll see what round. I think they'll do a feel-out period. Would I be surprised if Rochek wins? No. But I think this is going to be one of those bounce-back fights, as you mentioned here.
I also think that Jan does better when he has setbacks.
He's good. He's good.
He's a good rebound guy.
No, he's definitely improved his game a lot. He realizes what it takes to get the W's now. So I really do like it. Now, as far as we go in the card market, Rochek was looking to be the next big thing when he was coming up, and then he stumbled against Volkan there, and then he's had some boring fights throughout. He's printed in 2019. You take a look at his sales, you can get super cheap, numbered, graded cards of him. He just doesn't hold any value. He doesn't have the popularity, at least not as of now. But he's got a good record. He's got a good skill set. He really needs to put on some good shows, though, to get in, grow his fan base, to be more relevant here. I think he's a good spec play here. I'm not going to put a buy, but I'm going to give him a little spec rating. He's worth a shot if you like him. I mean, he's only 1 fight away from the championship, maybe 2. He's hovering right there. I don't know who they would really stick ahead of him. Ankalaev or something like that. You never know. But good spec play good for the pricing. Jan, 38. I'm not sure if he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Yes, I know he held the title. At 38 years old, though, how easy is it going to be for him to circle back in and get the belt? And the thing is, he won the belt after the belt was vacated by John Jones. And then he only defended it once against a middleweight. Like I said, I think Adesanya, they really tried to cherry pick that, thinking they were going to have Jan, and Jan came through with that decision win. So I'm not sure how long it takes him to circle back. I'm not loving trying to buy Jan at this stage in his career. His record's not phenomenal. He's really almost too nice of a guy. He stays out of the limelight. He says nice things about everyone. He doesn't have enough of that edge to him to get the fans where you want to see them. Hey, it's true, though. You got to kind of shit talk some of these fights to sell it, and he's not that guy. He's like...
And neither is Glover.
No. But Glover, just at 43, he's one of the oldest dudes doing it, period, to be a champ. Yeah. So, I mean, that... And he's been around so long, and he's beaten, like, everybody. Whereas, like I said, don't get me wrong, he didn't beat Jones either. But Jan got the belt after Jones. You know, was he going to beat Jones? No. Let's call it what it is. You never know, but Jones is incredible. But so I got to put a sell rating on.
Bottom line is no one has, so you could say that.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I got to put a sell on him. But let's move right on. We got another light heavyweight battle here. We got Ryan Spann. He's ranked 13. He's 30 years old. He's 19-7, plus 190 underdog here. He's won out of his last 3, and he's got a loss to Anthony Smith and Johnny Walker, and his only win in there was Misha Serkinov. He's going up against Ian Cutelaba, the Hulk, baby. Age 28. He's 16-6. He's a minus 235 favorite here. And his last fight was he beat Devin Clark. Then he had the draw against Dustin Jacoby. And then prior to that, he had 2 losses to Magomed. And one of them was really weird. That's why they gave him the rematch right away. That was where he's doing his faded move there. And then the ref calls and he's like, "What, dude? I was trying to lure him in." Yeah, I mean, yeah, so you can't really count that one against him. And Magomed is, by many, a future champion. So, Tom, what do you see happening here? Which guy starts to get on the winning track?
Man, I like both these guys, actually. Spann's tough, He could do it. You can't count Spann out by any means. He could put people out, too. But that said, you know what? I'm going to roll with Ian here. I don't know if anybody's going to go out, though. We'll see. I mean, I could see Ian putting him out, but I'm leaning more towards a decision here. A little bit more of definitely a battle, but I don't know if anybody's going to go out. We'll see. Ian Cutelaba is tough to put out. Spann, it could happen. He could go out. I'm leaning more towards a decision, but would I be surprised if somebody gets knocked out here? Would I even be stunned if Ryan won? No, I wouldn't, but I'm rolling with Ian here by decision.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. If you're watching these guys' past fights, Ryan Spann was this prospect that everybody thought was going to shoot to the top. And then he started meeting some of these, high-level guys, and we realized, all right, he's still very young. He's only 30, but we realized, Anthony Smith, John, you're losing to some of these guys now where everybody thought you were expected to win here. You were the next big thing. You were Superman Spann. Cutelaba, I don't want to say same concept. He's only 28, though. He already has a ton of UFC experience, and he really showing that he is improving on his game. One of his big downfalls was this guy's gas tank. He was known to be a one-round fighter, and we saw him because Devin Clark is, I'm not going to say he's like
he's got a chin.
He's got it's great chin. He's got good work rate. He's a dog, Devin Clark. Don't take anything away from that guy. He is a dog, and they went at it. Cutelaba is showing that he's balancing out his game. He's getting the cardio tank up. I'm not saying he has amazing cardio yet, but once he gets a few little tweaks to his game, he's really talented because he already has the heavy hand. So does Spann. I mean, either guy, you blink and it could be over here. No question about it. But Kutalaba's pacing himself a little bit better. He's realizing a few of his weaknesses out there. And you really like to see that. Now, do we not want to see Kutalaba go out there and try to knock someone's head off? Of course we want to see him knock someone's head off. But that's just not his game plan as much anymore. He realizes, yeah, some of these guys got crazy chins. You can't just finish them. So, I got to lean Kutalaba here. I got to think he's going to play it smart. I got to think he finishes Ryan Spann inside the first round, though. I think we're going to see Kutalaba of old just come out here and get the W fast, not try to use his gas tank as much.
Nice.
But this should be a battle royale. I think this should be a little bit closer to a pick'em, if you ask me. Spann has the same power, great skill set too, really good. I like it. I really do. This should be a good one. And the other thing is, Kutalaba might have the best ceremonial weigh-ins, so he's well known by all the fans. Everybody knows this guy's name. So at 28, if he can start to put it together, he climbs the rankings very fast. No question about it. As far as their cards go, Ryan, printed in 21 Prism. Like I said, he's just not winning the big fights, at least not as yet. Can he bounce back? And then maybe we'll see his prices start to really tick back up where everybody thought they were going to be. I just don't think he climbs far enough up the ladder. I'm going to be a seller on Ryan Spann. Now, at 28, Kutalaba, so much experience, so much improvement in his game. I think he's a good speculation play here. I do like him. If he can do kind of the Charles Oliveira move, where Charles was in the UFC, wasn't really killing guys, but he was winning, losing here, and then just starts to put it all together here, people are going to take notice. As I mentioned, this guy's already a pretty known fighter because of his ceremonial weigh-ins. He comes in painted like the Hulk, or he comes in painted mask, or he's screaming at dudes in their face and getting them all startled. Doesn't matter. The guy, people take notice of things like that. He's fun. He puts guys to sleep. I like it. His numbered rookie autos are close to nothing right now. And I just think his last fight was not a fluke the way he's learning out there. So I think he's a good spec play at these prices, guys. No question about it. All right, moving on. We got another fight here that is very intriguing. I'm a little confused on it. Women's flyweight. Katlyn Chookagian, ranked number 1 right now, 33 years old. She's 17-4. She's the minus 180 favorite right now. She's on that 3-fight winning streak, beating Jennifer Maia, Rujo, and Calvillo. All right, she's going up against Amanda Hebas, who's ranked 9. She's 11-2. She's 28 years old. She's a plus 155 underdog, and her last was a beat over Vernon Doba, and before that she lost to Marina. Now, Tom, we all know Amanda's moving up for this fight. How do you think she looks going up 10 pounds?
Probably good. I mean, Amanda's tough. I don't know if this will be where she wants to stay. I doubt it. But she's tough regardless. I mean, coming off a win against Verna's no joke. And she's on this card too.
Right.
Against Angela Hill. Chook is... I'm not a big fan. I just don't like watching her fights that much. She's not that exciting. It's kind of like she fights to win. She's almost like what some people might say, even kind of later in his career, John Jones kind of became a little bit of a point style fighter. I think Chook plays the points and is smart. She gets her wins and she's number 1 contender. And that's why I think maybe here, if she doesn't get caught in something and maybe get put out, I think she could pull another type decision against Amanda Hebas here. I'm going to go with Chook.
Yeah, I mean, I see why Chookagian is the favorite here. Every time I doubt her, just because, as you mentioned, I'm not a fan of her either. I don't like the Maria Sharapova scream every time you throw a punch. It's kind of annoying. We don't need... I'm just not a fan of a yelp every time you throw a punch. I don't need to hear it as a fan. I don't mind a couple grunts here or there, or you're getting real into it, but like every punch is some kind of and I'm not a fan. And also, she doesn't put anyone away. And here's the thing, though. Hebas looks good right now. I don't know if you've looked at her, checked her Instagram out. She is shredded coming into this weight class. this might be what she needs. I don't know for sure. We're going to see. But she looks in phenomenal shape right now. I actually am really liking the way she looks. And Amanda's only got 2 losses in her whole career. She's fighting a lot of killers in there. Listen, Marina is a top-notch girl to get a loss against. So take nothing away from that. Beating Verna's top-notch. Beating Mackenzie Dern, top-notch. Just look at her column. I think Hebas is the upset play here. I'm taking the dog. I really like Hebas to go in there. And since she's not going to get finished by Chookagian, and Chookagian's got a good ground game, right? Let's not be fooled. I doubted Chookagian before. She's got a good ground game. She's got decent grappling. She's got fast, I don't want to say fast hands, but she knows how to use her reach, her length, and everything like that. She's got good hands. Take nothing away. Chookagian's ranked number 1 for a reason. So I hate to hate on her, but I do. And yeah, facts. But I think Hebas has a lot more power. We saw that in the last fight. I think Hebas is definitely the higher ranked ground game. I bet her BJ is going to be levels ahead of Chookagian. Just like I think when Dern gets in there with nearly anyone, she's levels ahead. I think Hebas does what she has to do to get this fight to the ground, and she wins one way or another. I don't know if she goes out there and finishes Chookagian the way Valentina does, right? I mean, let's be real. There's only one Valentina in the UFC. But I think this is Hebas' stepping stone up. I don't know if... I mean, you beat the number 1 in the flyweights. Do you automatically shoot to a title shot just because there's not enough girls? Personally, I hope not. I hope we see her at 125 again if this is the right weight class for her. If this is where she wants to stay. I didn't do enough research to see if this is just where she wants to be or if this is just a one-time deal. But now, as far as the cards go, I think Amanda's got great social media presence. I think she's got real skill set. I think she's a very attractive young lady. Does she have enough to be the champion, though? That remains to be seen, but at her price level, she's definitely worth a shot. She's another spec play. I think she's a buy. I think you got to take that jump. Like I said, she wins this one fight. She's the number 1 contender. So, I mean, how do you not take that play? Do I think she beats Valentina? No. But maybe this jumps her up in the straw weights even. You go up, you beat one of the best flyweights. Now you come down to the straw weights. Now your ranking has to go up. So I like her. I like the spec play on her. Prices are super low. A lot of these fighters they don't get the credit they deserve, and I think she's one of them. Now, Caitlin, I think she's incredibly good. I think she just seems outmatched whenever she goes against the very top tier females. And I'm not talking obviously, I'm talking the top 2, top 3. We saw what happened when she went up against Jessica Andrade. That power. I think the same would happen if she fought Talia Santos. We know what happens when she fought Valentina. So that being said, Chookagian's a real flyweight. She's not going down in weight. And quite frankly, she does not have a shot against Valentina. Say what you want. The line would come out. It'd be minus 5,000. It'd be one of the craziest lines you've ever seen because we already saw what happened when she tried Valentina. And Valentina's literally getting better, even though she's already leaps and bounds better than everyone else. So without her being on the popular side, I got to put a sell on Caitlin Chookagian. All right. Let's keep it chugging along. We got another women's flyweight bout. A lot of females on this card. A lot of talented females on this card. This is 2 of the women I really do like. We got Viviana Rujo, ranked number 8. She's 35 years old. She's 10-3, and she's a minus 105 underdog. Her last fight was a loss to Chookagian. Before that, she beat Modafferi and De La Rosa. She's going up against Andrea Lee. And she's ranked number 9, 13-5, 33 years old, minus 115 favorite here. And she's on that 2-fight winning streak being Cavillo and Antonina Shevchenko. And before that, I got to just tell you, she had some really bad decision losses, a bunch of split decision losses. I don't think she deserved them. I thought she clearly won some of those fights, but that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. So otherwise, she could have already had a title shot. I don't know if that would have helped her career or hurt her career, because you got to beat Valentina. And yeah, well, it's a broken record when you're talking about Valentina. She's that good. I don't have to tell you. So how do you see this fight going down? We got some. Both girls are strong, powerful, talented women inside the octagon here.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good matchup, no doubt. But in my mind, Andrea Lee keeps getting stronger and stronger. Very impressive. Her strength is moving up. Her skill set is getting better, but she's getting stronger, and there seems more of a physical presence. I'm going with Andrea Lee, a second round finish.
Second round finish. All right. Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned, I like both these girls. My whole thing is Viviane, 35 years old. Not that that's too old, but at the women's flyweight, you're starting to show some age there. We haven't seen too many old champion women yet. They're a little newer to the sport per se. There's not as many in the sport. And I agree. Andrea Lee has always been just that cowgirl strength. She's just got that Texas farm girl strength in her. She's got a pretty good corner. We know her husband fights and stuff. She's training. I like how she looks when she's beating these girls. I like how she gets them to the ground. Her wrestling is top notch. Her hands are looking better. I mean, she's got great kicks. She's very well rounded. Where Rujo, I feel, is well rounded too, and it's got good power. I just think Andrea Lee can eat some of those shots, make it a grappling game, and just slow it down and get the decision win here. And that would be my pick. All right, now, the card game. I like both these women. I think Andrea Lee is a legit tank inside the octagon. I think with some really bad split decision losses, though, she just hasn't had her day in the sun. She's cheap, and she probably stays cheap just because it hasn't been looking good for her. I hope she moves up the rankings here at 33. I hope she does it before she starts to age out. And we get to see her shot. Get to see her beat some of these top girls. I like it. But I can't put a buy on her. I'm not going to broken record again. I feel Arujo, 35, she's going to have a hard time too. And Valentina's sitting up there. It's just tough. It's just really tough when someone's so good for these other girls to get any clout in the game. It's sad. But hey, whoever beats Valentina is going to instantly go in the record book. So take that for what it is. All right, one more women's fight that we're covering. And quite frankly, I love one of these women, and the other one I hate. Well, not hate, but I don't like her. You guys straight up. Vernon, Jenna, Doba, I like her. She's ranked number 12. She's 33 years old, 17-3, minus 170 favorite. This girl is a bad woman. She's had some bad losses, but nobody makes her look like a fool. She is out there. And her last fight was that loss to Amanda Hebas. And then she had the win against Kanako Murata. Her only losses ever, are Mackenzie Dern, Carla Esparza, and Amanda Hebas. Three girls who are extremely talented on the mat. Because Verna is also extremely talented on the mat. So, just throwing that out there. She's going up against Angela Hill, who's ranked 13. She's 37 years old. She's 13-11. I mean, almost a 500 record now here. She's a plus 150 underdog, and she is 1 out of her last 5. She's Amanda Lemos, Tisha Torres, the Karate Hottie, Claudia Gadelia, all beat her. Her only win is Ashley Yoder in recent times. Tom, can Angela Hill finally get a win in there?
Well, of course she could. I mean, Angela Hill, she's another one who's taken a lot of tough decisions. As you mentioned, Andrea Lee has taken tough decisions. Angela Hill's taken tough decisions. I think of Angela Hill as the women's Tim Elliott. She's a person with, a 500-ish record, but she's capable of giving everyone a tough match. Doesn't mean she's always going to win, but she's not going out easy either. You don't see Angela Hill getting just wipe the floor with Angela Hill. It doesn't really ever happen. Now, this one, I don't know. If these guys really decide to throw down, this could turn into like a fight of the night scenario because both are really tough and they like to throw. I mean, Angela's got to look out for not getting subbed, but Virna can throw too. So this could turn into quite a match. You know what? I lived in Maryland 2 years, man. Germantown and then Silver Spring. Taught in PG County, where Angela Hill's from. Prince George's County. I taught down in Suitland, Maryland. Shout out to Suitland. I'm going with Angela Hill here on the upset by decision.
Oh, yeah.
Angela Hill.
Angela Hill.
Angela Hill. By the way, if you're watching any of Marky's breaks, Angela Hill used to kind of be somebody that was just popping up all the time. Same with Sugar Rashad. But mark my words, his new Angela Hill is now Morono.
Morono. Yeah, listen. Obviously, you guys already know. Yeah, Angela Hill is in every fight. But 37... She's not winning at all. She just seems a step behind in a lot of these fights. I think if she was a man, I think she would get cut from the UFC. She's got a below 500 record in the UFC. I think she'd be cut. I mean, she's fighting top girls, but still, you lose to Lemos, you lose to Torres, you lose to Waterson, you lose to Gadelia. You got one win, Ashley Yoder. And it's not like she's getting finished. I agree. Angela Hill's got a great chin on her. But these girls are doing their thing. They're climbing. She's a stepping stone for all these other females. I'm not going to really waste evaluating time on a losing record. Sell Angela Hill. Verna, she's not even printed yet. But I really do like her skill set. I really do like her heart. I really do like her abilities. I think this fight gets to the ground, and I think we see where Verna is just so strong. She hasn't been able to use that as much lately, like I mentioned. Mackenzie Dern, she didn't want to go down there with the world champion black belt. Carla Esparza probably has the best wrestling in the women's division, period. I mean, she's a champ for a reason. It wasn't a great fight. We don't have to talk about that. And Amanda Hebas is also a top-notch BJJ black belt. So that's the only reason why Verna has those losses. I think she gets this to the ground, and I do think we see Angela Hill subbed out, and then we'll see Angela Hill pop back up and fight again, and I'll be saying the same things about her. I'm just not a fan. I'm just not a fan. All right, well, let's move right on. We don't got to spend too much time on them because we got a guy that everybody is becoming a fan of. We got the middleweight bout, Nick Maximoff. He's 24 years old. He's 8-0, and he's a minus 380 favorite right here at this spot. And his last fight was he beat Punta Healy and Cody Brundage. He's going up against Andre Petrosky, who's 30 years old, 7-1, a plus 290 underdog. And he last beat Yao Zhong Hu and Michael Gilmore. Tom, this is kind of like one of those fights where 8-0, 7-1, both guys are new. Maximoff training with your boys over there, though. He's one of the few guys who kind of gets it, though. They talk about it. They're like, do you ever get mad that the people associate you with the Diaz brothers? He's like, hell no, I want to be associated with them. Right. Those guys earn money. They got clout. They're great UFC fighters. Why wouldn't I want to be associated with them? He gets it. You're automatically getting free access to so many things. Yeah. You're associated with
Plus,
Diaz. Why wouldn't you want that?
If you ever hear Nick talk, man, he's like, you could almost just switch his face with like, Nate's face. He speaks in the same manner. The mannerisms, the pace of talking, everything, man. He's definitely almost like Nate's son in many ways.
Right. He's 24. He's talented.
Yep.
You're associated with two Hall of Famers.
Oh, yeah.
Why wouldn't you want that? Guys are crazy.
He's part of the family.
You got to get your ego in check because all these guys are talented in the UFC. Yep. This kid's getting a name as soon as he steps in the door. It's great. Good for this kid for understanding that. I appreciate that alone. But how do you see this fight breaking down? Andre is a freaking bull in there.
I gotta roll out, guys, here in a second, so I'm gonna make my call, and then I gotta be out off this. I got a 12er here. I got a rock too. I'm going with the Diaz cam, Nick Diaz Army. Remember that. Nick Diaz. I'm going with Nick Maximoff here by decision. Maximoff, in my mind, is quite a boring fighter, but he does slow it down and he nullifies his opponent's strengths. And they just can't get it going on him. And he just controls them.
All right, I'm just going to put in. I agree. Similar. I agree with that 100%. I think Petrosky takes him down, and then that's it. First round, couple takes down. He gasses. Maximoff takes over from there. I totally agree. Yep. We'll cut it out for you. Guys, thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next week. Apologize for taking so long.
Win your cards, man. Win my cards. Peace.